Now, Ukraine is praising its air defense systems for working effectively as Russia launches its first wave of drone attacks on Kyiv in weeks. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's proud that, quote, all 13 drones were shot down in Wednesday's attack. 2 buildings and a house were damaged. Ukraine has long been asking the US for its advanced Patriot missile defense system to protect its skies. Now the White House tells CNN it is finalizing plans to do so. The Kremlin says that if that happens, the system would be a legitimate target for Russia. CNN's senior international correspondent Will Ripley is on the ground in Kyiv, and he has the latest from the Ukrainian capital.
People were woken up to the sound of explosions in the early morning hours here in Kyiv, in central Kyiv, actually, a short distance from where I'm standing. Some people were up already and getting ready for work when they heard that very, very distinctive sound of the drone engines followed by explosions. One of the drones actually caused, a huge hole in the side of a building. There was damage. People had their apartment windows shattered. And yet, remarkably, the Ukrainian military says that in this drone attack on Kyiv, the first in a number of weeks, here in the central area, there has been no significant damage to the power grid on top of what they're already dealing with. There are rolling blackouts continuously affecting people who live here in Kyiv and affecting people who live all over Ukraine. The power grid is far from stable. It's going to be quite some time as crews continue to work to try to repair these facilities that are continuously damaged by these Russian attacks, weaponizing winter, targeting the power grid, trying to make civilians' lives miserable as the temperatures plunge ever colder and the official start of winter is just days away. Even though in this instance, the Ukrainians did shoot down, they say, 13 drones fired from Russia. These are Iranian-made drones that explode upon impact. There were incidents just within the last week where some of the drones did make it through. For example, in the southern Ukrainian region of Odessa, 1.5 million people were plunged into darkness last weekend when out of 15 drones that were launched by Russia, 5 of them did hit their targets. There is certainly welcome news here in Kyiv at the reporting by CNN that the Patriot missile defense systems will be arriving at some point in this country. But of course, that comes with its own set of challenges and risks, including threats from the Russians that this will make NATO and the United States complicit in escalating this war. Will Ripley, CNN, Kyiv.
The White House is finalizing plans to send the Patriot missile defense system to Ukraine. An official announcement could come this week. The Pentagon's plan still needs to be approved by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin before it is sent to President Biden for his signature. Scott McLean has the latest on this for us from London. Scott, how would these Patriot missile batteries make a difference on the battlefield for Ukraine?
Hey, Christine, here's what's interesting is that, of course, the Ukrainians have been asking for months from NATO allies to send more advanced air defense systems, especially given the attacks on its infrastructure as of late. But at least this morning, the systems that it has already, well, those seem to do just fine. There was a barrage of 13 incoming Russian drones aimed at Kyiv this morning, according to the Ukrainians. And according to President Zelensky, all 13 of those drones were shot down. Now, some of the fragments of those drones did hit a city administration building in central Kyiv and also some residential homes around the city as well. It's not clear what exactly the intended target was, but perhaps we have a clue as to what the motivation may have been, at least according to Ukrainian television, which showed video of one of those fragments that had an inscription on it which read, "For Ryazan," a very clear reference to a drone strike hundreds of miles inside of Russian territory last week that the Russians blamed on Ukraine. Now, as for the Patriot missile system, this would be by far the most effective, the most complex missile defense system that Ukraine has been given since the outset of the war. The difference with the Patriot system is that it has the ability to shoot down incoming drones or rockets or even aircraft at a much further distance, and also at a much higher altitude as well, which means potentially you could strike down some of those targets a lot farther away from their intended target, so you wouldn't have the kind of situation that we had this morning in Kyiv, potentially, where you had fragments of those missiles or drones or what have you actually doing some damage in the city. The difficulty with this system, though, is that it takes a very large crew to actually operate. We're talking about dozens of people, and the training on this system, well, it takes months. So now the U.S. has this challenge of trying to train up Ukrainian troops that will be using this system at its air base in Germany. As I said, normally it takes months. They're going to try to condense that down to as little time as possible, Christine.
All right, Scott McLean, thank you so much for that.